That we had a detailed presentation. It was not a formal item, but it was a presentation that was given by the Transport Department, which is basically for the expansion of the Shillong airport.
Myntri Rangbah ke Jylla Conrad K Sangma ulaong ynda ban Pynheh bat pynjrong Jaka madan no khyndew Jaka Kad Liengsuin Umroi khnang ba ki liengsuiñ kiba he kiba kit shispa nyopo haduh shispa ngut kin sala ban hiar ban kiew ban kamai na katei Kad Liengsuiñ kabadon bhoi distrik. Myntri Rangbah iathuh kane nongthoh Khubor hadien ke Jylla Jaka Kynhun Myntri cabinet meeting. Iathuh ru Sorkar kalarai ban Thied Jaka shu nakabenta ban Pynheh bat pynjrong yakani Kad Liengsuiñ. Shen ke Sorkar Meghalaya kan yakran bat kihe ka Directorate General of Civil Aviation halor kani karai jong ke Sorkar Meghalaya penkut.
That we had a detailed presentation. It was not a formal item, but it was a presentation that was given by the Transport Department, which is basically for the expansion of the Shillong airport. As you are aware that we have been facing a large number of challenges, and previous technical reports had made it quite difficult for us to actually go into the feasibility of expanding the airport. But after doing a study which was sanctioned by the state government last year to do a LIDAR survey of the entire area around the airport, about 20 square kilometers was studied, and this is of course being done with Airport Authority of India on board. We are happy to inform that we have been able to come out with few options where in the existing airport itself we should be able to extend the runway, which would make it feasible for at least the Airbus A320 and the Boeing 737. 737 is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Boeing 737, which is about 180-170 seater aircrafts. In layman's term, basically the Indigo flights and the SpiceJet flights that we normally take. So this particular study and this particular master plan and this implementation should allow us to make the landing of these aircrafts feasible in the existing airport that we have. Of course, there are certain more clearances that are required. Further discussions have to be done with Government of India, especially with DGCA and the Civil Aviation Ministry. So we are on the job. It is still at, you can say, the process and the planning stage is still on. But the initial report that we have seen today from the Transport Department is very encouraging and very positive. And we are hopeful that we should be able to take this forward. But as I said, that I will not jump the gun right now. We will only come out with a detailed press note and all the facts once we are able to clear all the clearances and meetings with the DGCA and the Civil Aviation Ministry. But since this was in the agenda, and since we discussed this, and since it's a positive news for all of us, I thought I would share this with you, that after the meeting we had, we are quite hopeful that we should be able to extend the runway, and we're hopeful that if all the different aspects fall into place, we should be able to land the normal commercial flights, which is normally the A320 and the Boeing 737 in the existing airport. So those presentations were given to us. So those are the few discussions that took place in the cabinet today. Thank you very much. We cannot say, as I said, because we have to talk to DGCA and we have to talk to the Civil Aviation Ministry. But the survey that was done along with the Airport Authority of India, the survey and the technical report has come out feasible. So we are on the right track. Now the process starts of actually extending the runway, certain permissions required from DGCA, certain other aspects and works that need to be done, details of which I will share in a later stage with you. But what my point being is that in the previous months and years, we were still struggling on looking at whether we'll go for a new site, whether we had to chop off the mountains, whether we have to do all of the things. So at least we are now clear that we have a very, very much reasonable and a feasible option in front of us, which is very much implementable, and we are now on track. Timing is something that really depends on so many factors, because some of the factors are beyond our control. But what I would like to share is that we are now in the right direction, and the process is on, and we are very, very hopeful that we should be able to, move the things in the right direction. But definitely, it's something that will take time, because extension of the runway has to be done. I can share with you that we have to extend the runway by about 500 plus meters. So obviously that requires so many aspects to be looked into. So we'll look at all those aspects. But as I said, at least now we know where we're heading.
So what will be the total expenditure?
Financial? Exactly. It's something that we cannot say, because it requires a bit of land acquisition. It requires a bit of construction. But definitely it's not going to be in that line where we're talking of chopping off the mountains, which is going to take 8,000 crores, which is something that was very, very difficult for us to take a decision on. We're happy that now we will not require any major destruction or cutting off mountains. Maybe a bit of cleaning up has to be done, which is bare minimum. Bit of land acquisition just to extend the runway, a bit here and there, and create some parking space for aircrafts. And obviously the implementation of the actual extension of the runway. So very, very practical, realistic and doable steps now are there. Exact cost is something which obviously I cannot say right now, because we have to go into the details of it. But it's not going to be anything close to what was being thought of in the past, where we would require large amount to chop off the mountains. No, nothing like that. Very, very reasonable and doable actions are required.
So as per the expansion plan, 20 acres of land is required, which is 6 acres for parking of airlines and aircraft. How much amount is required, or is it feasible to acquire this land? Because we have seen very difficult as far as acquisition of land is concerned.
Yes, obviously we have got concerns, which is always there. I mean, it's not about this project alone. In any project, obviously land acquisition is something that we have to work on. But I think what is important to note is that this project is a game changer for our state. I think everyone who is part of this must realize how important this project is for Meghalaya and for tourism sector, and what potential this has to change the entire landscape of the economy and tourism sector of our state. And hence, this is something that we must all work together to get through. So yes, there could be challenges. I don't know. I'm not sure yet, because we have not started the process yet. But today's cabinet has given the approval to go ahead and now start the process. So let us see how things go forward. But yes, we look at cooperation from all angles. As I said, this is for the larger interest and good of the people and the state as a whole.
So what would the